Hello, post editing me here. I'm here because I don't think I really did the video well. I don't think for some reason I can talk and play at the same time well today, which brings me to today's topic. You know, I don't think it's any secret that in the past few years students have been struggling thanks to a certain infection, or rather a virus. And I started studying right during that time, so really it's kind of bad how my social situation turned out with that, and also how my general studying situation turned out, because online lessons are a different beast entirely than real lessons, aren't they? And so honestly, like, no human interaction really turns down the motivation. And I'm sure if I had enough discipline or something, I would have gone through with that, or enough motivation. But I'm not exactly a very motivated person a lot of the time, especially for studying, at least in the past. And so I would procrastinate a ton, and then wake up, stay up late to delay the time towards the next lesson, right? That's the mindset behind procrastination. You just maximize your, fun and enjoyment and like that towards the next lesson, towards the next bad thing that's gonna happen, right? So, and I did not actually study, so it was not possible for me to pass many exams except, naturally easy ones. And there was just no focus and interest at all, really. I think maybe a lot of you can probably relate to that. So, one day I was, of course, watching eventually a fucking Dr. K video, what else, right? And he talked about, and I found this very interesting, because I think that's one of the most important things, because once you can be successful with your stuff, with your work and your money, right, most of your, the biggest problem you have probably goes away, right? Solves a lot of problems. There's no problem that you cannot throw infinite money at and it goes away, barely any problem. So basically about focus, right? Your mind, basically when you focus on something, it's focused, your attention is streamlined, and you get to do the thing in a flow state, right? And inevitably you will lose focus and your mind will scatter, but you will refocus on the same thing or maybe something else, right? And that's the problem. If you have something very enticing for your brain right there, that's designed to be enticing, like your phone or any sort of web page like YouTube or Reddit, for example, or Twitter or whatever, your focus will just go towards that instead of your boring work, of course, right? Even though work is more important, and that work's more important, but you still cannot stop it, especially if you're untrained, right? Because you can train your attention. So, how do you train and control your attention? What I did was I cut out any sort of phone usage or social media usage or media usage, fun media usage, anything like that, before bed. Just before bed when I'm trying to sleep, because it can make your mind much more active. It's basically simulating running around the daytime, taking in new information, right? So of course your mind is going to be active, so it can't do that. And also before and during school and work, right? No phone, because it just does, it makes your mind so unfocused, right? Your brain just screams at you that it wants to go back to your phone or social media. and cannot focus on anything that's harder to focus on, that's less fun to focus on, right? And so with that, I pretty quickly noticed improvements. And I know it's kind of obvious, right? But it's not that obvious nowadays, I think, to a lot of people. Because if you do that, if you actually hold back and don't follow like what your brain tells you to do, essentially, which is look at your phone and media, you can train your attention and you can move it more at will to things you want. And this effect, you know, goes as Super Saiyan mode, essentially, if you also meditate, which is, at least, you know, the way I know meditation, which is just focus on your breathing, and then once you lose control, once you are not focused on your breathing anymore, you have to consciously, and this is the actually hard to do part, focus back on your breathing again, and not on other stuff. And each time you do that, that's like a mental rep, I suppose. And that is really, that's just so useful to do, because at that point you will naturally gain the ability to refocus on important and, you know, more boring things. That's really precious nowadays, honestly. Because that will, and that's precious for you, the viewer, because it will always help you forever if you do that. And you only need to go like 10 minutes a day for meditation, you know? So, once again, you know, be in control of your media usage, because your brain goes out of control inevitably with that. And recognize coping and procrastination patterns, right? And also train focus, because everything you do in your life is based on focus. Quite possibly everything, you know. Some people can naturally focus very easily on boring things, but a lot of people can't, especially men nowadays, right? Because men are all over the place a lot of times, you know, boys. And honestly, learn it. Very nice and good. Bye bye.